After my emergency C-section, I texted, "I can't handle this on my own. Please be there for me." No reply. The next morning, my sister posted on Facebook, "Family day out." 3 weeks later, still weak and barely walking, my phone lit up with 47 missed calls and a message from Dad. "Send $4,800 or else." I looked down at my baby and responded. I was still numb from the waist down when they wheeled me out of the operating room. It was all surreal. The lights, the whispers, the faint cries echoing from nearby delivery rooms. I had imagined it so differently, me holding my baby with shaky hands, but a full heart, maybe even crying tears of joy. Instead, there was just this overwhelming emptiness. I stared up at the ceiling tiles, half listening to the nurse say something about a successful procedure. They'd taken my daughter to the NICU for monitoring. I couldn't even see her yet. I was alone. No one had come. Not my mother, not my sister, not even a cousin, and definitely not him. The baby's father had walked out when I was 7 months pregnant. No fight, no final straw. Just one night, he said he needed time to think and never came back. I sent one message a week later asking if he was okay, and he replied, "Yeah," and nothing else. That was the last I heard from him. In the days leading up to the birth, I tried to convince myself it didn't matter. I'd be strong. I'd do it without him. I didn't need anyone. But when they said I needed an emergency C-section and started prepping me in record time, I realized how much I had been lying to myself. After the surgery, alone in recovery, shaking, I picked up my phone and typed out the most honest thing I had said in months. "I can't do this alone. Please help." I sent it to my mom, my sister, and even my dad, who I hadn't spoken to in almost a year. I didn't care about the history. I just needed someone to show up. I stared at the screen, waiting for that buzz, that ding, that anything. But nothing came. My battery died in the middle of the night. When a nurse brought me a charger the next morning, I turned the phone on immediately. Still nothing, no missed calls, no unread messages, just a Facebook notification. I opened it. It was a tagged photo. My sister had posted a group selfie at some winery with the caption, "Family Bonding Day. Brunch and wine with my favorites, clinking glasses, 2 hearts." It was like a punch to the chest. She had seen the message. I know she had. My message even showed me the read receipt. I stared at the post for a long time, not knowing what I felt more, rage or shame. I didn't reply to her. I didn't reply to anyone. Not after that. 3 days later, I was discharged. Still hurting, barely able to walk upright, but I made it home. Just me and my baby girl. No one came to visit. No balloons, no casseroles, no stupid diaper cake. I had food delivered when I could afford it, and managed to get the neighbor kid to help me carry groceries up the stairs once. I told him I'd pay him $10 if he didn't tell anyone. I cried in the hallway afterward. 3 weeks passed like that. Bleeding, leaking, hurting, feeding the baby on 2 hours of sleep at a time, taking sponge baths when I could. Still no calls, no messages, just complete silence until that morning. I was holding my daughter. She had finally fallen asleep after crying for an hour when my phone started buzzing so hard it nearly slipped off the armrest. 47 missed calls. I blinked. Thought maybe it was a mistake. Then the message came from my dad. "Send $4,800 or else." That was it. No. Hello. No. How's the baby? No. We're worried. Just a demand. My heart pounded so hard I thought I might throw up. I stared at the message. Reread it 5 times. Then I opened the call log. It was real. 47 calls from my parents and sister in the span of an hour. I wrote back one word. No. No punctuation. No explanation. I didn't know them one. I didn't know what the or else meant. I didn't care. Something in me cracked that day. Clean and final. But that wasn't the end. Not even close. It was just the beginning. The reply I got wasn't a message. It was a knock. 2 mornings after I'd said no, I was sitting on the couch holding my daughter against my chest, still in the same oversized hoodie I'd been sleeping in all week when the pounding started. Not knocking, full-on fists slamming against the door like someone was trying to break it down. My stomach dropped. I froze. My daughter stirred, then started crying again like she felt the tension, too. I shuffled over, still healing, still sore, and peeked through the peephole. I stood there stunned for a second. My parents, both of them. I hadn't seen either of them in nearly a year, not even during the pregnancy. My mom had made it clear she didn't understand my decision to keep the baby after the father left. My dad hadn't really said anything. He just disappeared, and now they were here. I opened the door because they weren't going to leave quietly. They brushed right past me like they lived there. My mom gave the place one long, judgmental sweep. My dad walked straight into the kitchen and opened the fridge. No, hello, no. How are you? No. Can we see the baby? Then they started talking like we were already in the middle of the conversation. They needed money. My sister's wedding was happening sooner than expected. Her boyfriend-fiancé now apparently had messed something up financially, and they were short, really short. The venue had called. The photographer was about to cancel. The dress deposit was due, and they needed help. They didn't ask. They expected. When I said nothing, my mom turned it up. That I was being cold. That family helps family. That I was holding a grudge over nothing. That just because I had a baby didn't mean I got to ignore my responsibilities to the rest of them. I asked where any of them had been 3 weeks ago when I needed help, when I was begging. My dad said I should have just handled it quietly, like an adult. My hands were shaking. Then came the guilt trip. How I didn't understand what my sister was going through. How hard she was trying to make things work with her fiancé, even though he was having a tough time. Half time, that's what they called it. The same man who, last Thanksgiving, got drunk and punched a hole in their hallway wall because someone said his mashed potatoes were dry. But sure, let's call it a rough patch. I said no again. That's when it got loud. My mom raised her voice. My dad accused me of playing the victim. My baby, who had finally fallen asleep minutes before, woke up screaming. They didn't even flinch. I picked her up, said nothing, just held her and walked to the door. I opened it wide. Neither of them moved at first. Then, finally, they stepped out, still muttering, still acting like I owed them something. My dad said I'd regret this. My mom told me not to expect anyone to be there when things really fall apart, that I closed the door. Locked it. I didn't cry this time. I was too tired. Later that night, I scrolled through my contacts. I stopped on a name I hadn't touched in almost a year, Noah. He had once been there for everything. Before the pregnancy. Before the breakup. He was the kind of friend who still checked in, even when we drifted. When I was with my ex, Noah had kept his distance. But when the guy left, he'd sent me a simple text. You could. I never answered. He'd know that I sent him a photo of the baby. No caption. No explanation. Just her. His reply came almost instantly. She's perfect. Are you okay? I stared at that message for a long time. Then typed. I need help. That I didn't even know what I meant yet, but I knew I meant it. And for the first time in weeks, I wasn't alone. Noah showed up the next morning without me asking. He just texted, I'm outside. No pressure. I stood at the door a moment before opening it. Part of me wondered how I looked. Another part didn't care anymore that he had 2 bags, groceries in one, baby things in the other. I noticed he'd even brought extra formula, though I'd never told him I was supplementing. The way he walked in was careful, not slow, not dramatic, just respectful. He didn't treat the place like it was a sad story. He didn't make comments about the smell of the apartment or how tired I looked. He just slipped off his shoes and asked if I wanted tea or coffee. That first day, he didn't even bring up my family. We just sat there. I fed the baby while he quietly washed the dishes in the sink. Later, he asked if I had eaten. I hadn't. I hadn't even realized it. He made pasta with butter and garlic. Simple, nothing fancy. We ate in silence. The baby lay between us in her bassinet, fidgeting. At one point, Noah leaned over and gently moved her tiny hand away from her face. I caught myself watching him too long. That night, after he left, I finally checked my phone. 32 unread messages. Most of the messages were from my mother, a few from my sister, and 2 from numbers I didn't recognize, probably my dad. They weren't even pretending anymore. My mom had sent photos of my sister crying in her wedding dress. Said I was destroying her special day. Said a decent person would help, even after everything. Then came another message. We're going to have to do something drastic. I don't want it to come to that. I didn't reply. The next day, I found a folded note taped to my door when I came back from checking the mailbox. Written in black Sharpie on lined paper. Family doesn't abandon each other. You're not as unreachable as you think. You'll see that I called Noah. I hadn't planned to. I just panicked. I don't even remember what I said. He showed up within 20 minutes. When I handed him the note, he didn't sit down. He snapped photos with his phone, pulled out a notepad from his bag, and started writing down dates, times, every incident I could remember. He asked if I had screenshots. I said yes. I'm going to talk to someone I know, he said. This is crossing into legal territory. He meant it. He wasn't just saying it to calm me, but it didn't stop. Later that week, someone tried to unlock my door. I was home. Noah was there too. One of the few nights he stayed late helping me organize the baby's things. We heard the rattle of keys, then a low curse. By the time Noah reached the door and flung it open, no one was there. Just the sound of footsteps rushing down the stairwell. We didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I found an envelope pushed under the door. Inside was a crumpled printout from a wedding coordinator's website. A payment plan. Someone had circled the total, $4,800, and scrawled underneath, "You don't get to pretend you're not part of this family." That I handed it to Noah. He didn't even blink. He pulled out his phone and started dialing. I asked who he was calling. "A friend in law enforcement," he said. "We're done playing nice." And I realized then, I hadn't felt safe in weeks. Maybe months. Maybe ever. Not in a way I could name. But suddenly, with Noah handling it, I did. I knew this wasn't over. But something had shifted. For once, I wasn't the one holding the line. After Noah filed the police report, I thought that might be the peak. Maybe, just maybe, the threat of law enforcement would be enough to make them stop. I let myself believe in that quiet for about 2 days. I even slept without checking the locks 4 times before bed. Then the mail came. Just a regular envelope. No markings, no return address, nothing unusual among bills and baby formula coupons. But the weight of it was wrong. Heavy, flat, silent. Inside was a typed letter addressed to me. Full name. Middle included that if you refuse to help your sister on the most important day of her life, don't expect to be part of the next one. We've made arrangements to visit .no name at the bottom. .no threat spelled out completely, but worse underneath. Printed directions to my apartment from county records, not Google Maps. And a photo. Grainy, taken at night from across the street, but clear enough to see my living room window, the bassinet's outline. Someone had been watching. I called Noah, my hand shaking so badly I dropped the phone mid-call. He arrived in 20 minutes, studied everything, then stepped outside to make a call I didn't question. When he came back in, his face was different. "You're not staying here tonight." I said I couldn't leave, but he already had a bag packed, a car seat in his truck. At his place, the guest room was ready. Crib, blankets, even a noise machine. That night, for the first time in weeks, I wasn't terrified. The next morning, my bank flagged 3 failed login attempts. I froze. Months ago, I'd logged in on my mom's tablet. I showed Noah. By noon, police had added financial access to the report. Then Noah asked if I'd consider breaking my lease. Not just for now, permanently. Move in with me. I didn't answer then. But later, when Noah got a text of his own truck outside. "You can hide her, but not forever," I said yes. We moved everything in one trip. He paid the lease penalty himself. "This is about safety, not debt," he told me. At his house, it was simple but safe. The crib was already set up, baby things stocked. He never said, "This is your new home." He didn't need to. My family didn't stop. An email came first. "You've changed. Don't let him isolate you. We're your blood." Then my dad called Noah's work, claiming I was unstable, threatening to show up. Noah came home early, furious, and took me straight to the station. This time, we sat with a domestic crimes officer, a woman who didn't waste time. We handed over everything. Letters, screenshots, even the voicemail where my sister said, "Don't forget he's my dad, and I will get what I'm owed, one way or another." The officer read through Noah's packet, leaned back, and said, "They're escalating. You did the right thing." She outlined restraining orders, documentation, even scrubbing my name from databases. Then she looked at me. "They'll try again, but this time, you have the power." I didn't cry. I was past that. Noah didn't drive us straight home. He stopped at a small diner. Over dinner, while the baby slept beside me, he said quietly, "I'm not just doing this because I'm your friend. You and her, you're not a burden. I want you here." Later, I saw a calendar note taped to his fridge, "Court filing plus security upgrade." He wasn't just giving me a place to stay. He was building a wall for us. 2 weeks later, we stood in court. The judge flipped through the evidence, messages, threats, the photo of my window, even the bank account attempt, and granted the restraining order without hesitation. My family didn't show. I didn't feel like I'd won. Just free. When we got home, a sticky note waited on the fridge. "Today, we get peace for good." Noah never mentioned it. That was him. Quiet, steady, thoughtful. We didn't celebrate. Just sat on the porch while the baby monitor buzzed softly. Noah grilled burgers and corn. He told me, "You were always great. But now, you're stronger. You know what you won't put up with anymore."